pressing Escape. And we're returned to the Save As dialog box. Notice the two buttons on the right side of the dialog box labeled OK and Cancel. Selecting OK confirms the information we've entered into the dialog box and executes the command, while selecting Cancel is the same as pressing Escape. That is, it closes the dialog box without doing anything. Let's close this dialog box now by clicking on Cancel. To continue our tour of the menu bar, we click on the word Edit, and the Edit menu opens. From this menu, we can access commands to undo the last action, move, copy, and paste blocks of text, and perform other text editing tasks. Notice that some of the commands on this menu are dimmed or grayed out. This indicates that these commands are not available at this time. Also, notice that many of the commands on this menu have a small black arrow to the right of them. This arrow indicates that selecting this command will lead to a submenu from which we can make further selections. For example, if we select the Insert command by clicking on it, a submenu of items we can insert appears. To close the submenu, simply press the left arrow key. In addition to accessing commands through the menu system, AmiPro allows us to use certain keyboard shortcuts. The shortcuts are indicated on the menus. For instance, next to the Cut command, we see a caret sign and the letter X. This means that holding down the Control key and pressing X will accomplish the same thing as selecting Cut from this menu. We'll be using many of these shortcuts throughout the course. We're done exploring this menu, so let's close it by pressing Escape twice. And the menu closes. Now that we've toured the screen, let's create our first AmiPro document. With the insertion point located in the top left corner of the screen, let's type Dear Joseph, period. Actually, we want a comma after Joseph instead of a period. To erase characters to the left of the cursor, we simply press the backspace key once for each character we want to erase. In this case, we press the backspace key once to delete the period. Then type a comma. Now to move the insertion point to the beginning of the next line, we press Enter. Here we type, I wanted to let you know how much I have enjoyed working with AmiPro for Windows. Type a period and 2 spaces. Now type, I found it helpful for many tasks. We then type a period and 2 spaces. Notice that when we typed past the right margin, the insertion point automatically jumped to the beginning of the next line. This feature is called word wrap. Until you press Enter, AmiPro treats everything you type as one paragraph that wraps around to the next line when you type past the right margin. Let's continue entering text by typing, these are some of the things I like about AmiPro. Add a colon and press Enter to start a new line. We then type word wrap and press Enter. Then type easiest to use Actually, I think that easy to use would be more appropriate. To fix this, we'll use the delete key, which removes text to the right of the insertion point. We first move the insertion point to the left of the I in easiest by moving the mouse pointer to the desired position. Then we anchor the insertion point there by clicking the left mouse button once. If we now move the mouse pointer, we can see that the insertion point has been relocated. To delete the rest of the characters in the word easiest, we press the delete key 4 times. We then type a Y, and the word is corrected. Now let's modify this phrase to read easy to understand and use. To do this, we first move the insertion point to the left of the word use. Then we type understand and press the space bar. Notice that the text to the right of the insertion point moved over to make room for the new text. This is called working in insert mode. While in insert mode, MicroVideo will move any existing text to make room for any new text we enter. However, suppose we wanted to replace the existing text with new text. To do so, we can switch to type over mode, which will allow us to replace text to the right of the insertion point with any text entered. Let's try it. We want to replace the word use with learn. To do so, we press the insert key once to switch to type over mode. Notice that on the status bar, the word type appears, indicating that we are now in type over mode. Now we type learn, and the word use is overwritten with the new text. Now let's press the insert key again to switch back to insert mode. In addition to inserting text, we can insert blank lines. For example, to insert a blank line between the salutation, Dear Joseph, and the body of the letter, we move the mouse pointer to the beginning of the body of the letter to the left of the word I, and click the left mouse button. Now we press enter, and the text located to the right and below the insertion point moves down 1 line and a blank line is inserted. Now that we've entered some text, let's learn how to make part of our document stand out by indenting the list of things we like about MicroVideo. To indent these 2 lines, we move the insertion point to the left of the first W in word wrap by pressing the down arrow key twice. We then press the tab key, and the text moves to the first tab stop, which in my case is 1 inch in from the left margin. To repeat this process for the second line, we press the left arrow key once, the down arrow key once, and then press the tab key again, and the second line is indented. We'll learn more about formatting text and moving around in the document later, but you now have enough knowledge to complete this letter on your own. Please pause the tape now and complete interactive exercise number 1 in your workbook. I'll see you when you're finished. Welcome back. If you successfully completed the interactive exercise, your screen should look something like this. Now that our sample document is completed, let's save it for later use. Although you can see the document on the screen, it currently exists only in the computer's memory. Saving the document will write it to your hard disk or to a floppy disk and will protect you from losing your work should a power outage or computer failure occur. To save this document, we open the File menu by clicking on the word File. Then we click on the Save As option, and the Save As dialog box appears. Let's take a moment to explore this dialog box. Near the top is a smaller box labeled File Name currently showing .sam. SAM is the default extension given to all AmiPro documents. Below the file name box is the word directory, followed by the name of the drive and directory that AmiPro will save the file in unless you specify otherwise. In my case, that's C:\\AmiPro\docs. Keep in mind that your drive and directory may be different. Directly below this is a box labeled Directories, where we can change the current directory. To the right of the Directories box is the Drives box. This displays the current drive and allows us to change it by clicking on the downward pointing arrow to its right. To the right of the Drives box is another box labeled List Files of Type. This box allows us to save a document in a different file format for use in another program. Currently, it's displaying the AmiPro format. However, we can change the display by clicking on the downward pointing arrow and choosing a different file type. Below the Drives box are several checkboxes and a document description box in which you may enter a brief description of the current document. On the far right side of the dialog box, we can see the familiar OK and Cancel buttons. With the highlight in the file name box, let's name this file Sample by typing that in and pressing Enter. AmiPro saves the document and returns us to the document window, which now displays the file name sample.sam in the title bar. We're finished with our work here, so let's exit AmiPro. To do so, we access the File menu by clicking on File. Then we exit the program by clicking on Exit. In a few moments, we'll return to the Windows screen. This concludes our first segment, in which we learned how to access AmiPro and explored the parts of the program screen. We also learned how to access online help and created a simple document. Finally, we saved the file and exited the program. Please pause the tape now and complete the additional exercise and quiz in your workbook. When you're finished, we'll begin segment 2, in which we'll learn how to edit and format a document. In this segment, we'll learn how to access an existing AmiPro document, we'll modify it, and print it. In the process, we'll learn how to move around in a document using both the keyboard and the mouse, and we'll explore some basic editing and formatting features. If you're working along with me, you should have Windows up and running. Now, to start AmiPro, we double-click on its icon. And in a few moments, the AmiPro main screen appears. For the purpose of this course, let's assume that we work for a computer company called Bytes of Data. To begin our work, let's open an existing document called Memo 2, which is a memo about our new product line. To open an existing document, we click on the Open icon, located on the far left end of the Smart Icon bar. And in a moment, the Open dialog box appears. In the file name box, we see an asterisk, period, then SAM, indicating that AmiPro is displaying a list of all the files contained in the current directory that have the SAM extension. To the right of the Files box, AmiPro displays the name of the drive and directory that is currently being accessed. In my case, AmiPro's default directory C:\AmiPro\docs is displayed. Keep in mind that your drive or directory may be different. For more information about this dialog box, please refer to your student workbook. Now, to access any file in the Files list, we simply click on it. For example, the file we're looking for is called Memo 2. If this file is not currently visible, simply click on the down scroll arrow in the Files box until the file name scrolls into view.